I was saying goodbye to my partner as she was disappearing off somewhere, the lovely Julia, and I saw mums and youngsters beginning that morning stroll up to those schools, those strange big places, buildings surrounded these days with effectively barbed wire, gates and fences that nobody can wander in from the street. Mums and dads can't come in without an appointment to see what's going on inside, which is a bit of a strange thing. It was never like that when I was a kid. And we happened to see some friends of ours, and it was the youngster's first day at big school. And he was all dressed up very smartly in his blazer and his trousers and his tie, and he was very excited. He'd had a day before with his year at that school, and he was very excited because he was going now with the rest of the children who were going to be there. And we were, pleased for him for being excited about it. But of course, many of us now understand what the nature of school is. And as he walked away with his mum and strolled off, I thought, yes, here he is. He's going off to be indoctrinated into the way the state wants him to behave, so that he'll shut up when told to shut up. He'll only ask questions when asked to ask questions. Those questions, of course, will be very much guided. He won't be able to just go and do a biological function. When he needs to, he'll have to ask permission. They'll line up, and the surname will be trained into him, parrot fashion, as they call out the register. That fake legal fiction will be pushed into the brain so that they believe that they are something that's been created by the Crown. Like we all did. Yes, sir. No, sir. 3 bags full, sir. And the bell will go and signify the beginning and ending of things. And freedom will be taken away from this poor youngster. And so millions up and down the land will be repeating the same process and going through this mill, that from now on, over the next few years, this obedient training will be, this indoctrination will be the program that is put into their minds. And then, of course, the narrative of what life and everything is all about will equally be put into their brains. The programming will start to happen for the next generation of those young people who were once free to question, to be open-minded, to enjoy and laugh and do biological functions as and when, and get up to pranks and experiment and all those things, the things that freedom brings you, the joy, the pleasure. And for the next, however long it is, 7 years, perhaps longer if secondary education comes in, third education or whatever they call it these days, further education, is it? And university, the training will go on to be a working slave, to make money and to pay taxes and to do as you're told and be obedient and don't think for yourself. And you see it now, looking out the window. The parents will be leading their children and they will be entering the world of commerce. And mums and dads with youngsters will turn into parents with children. Corporate words, legalese, all this sort of nonsense. And it's a shame. And the other day I made a film about the Morlocks are calling. You may have seen it. And in a way, it is now the Morlocks again in the schools are calling the Eloi. And the Eloi are going every morning and ready for that whistle when the doors open and the children go in and the doors shut. And who knows what goes on. And suddenly those mums and dads have now lost control of the most important element that their little offspring, their little babe in arms could possibly have, and that is the mind. They have lost control of their own creation's mind as they hand it over to indoctrinated teachers who will now teach them the things the government want. And if you think, well, I'll just educate the children at home then, we'll pull them out of school, I don't want that. Even now, if you stay as a citizen, as a resident, if you stay as a parent and a child, you will find that the government's state will now dictate to you, thanks to this well-being and children's bill that's going through, that you have to have the syllabus that the government want your children to learn, so that they will still be obedient slaves, so that they can get them to pay the taxes so that people can be sent to war and murdered. And unless people step away from that system, it will just continue. The sad thing is, of course, we know this is going on now. Many of us are awake. Many of us in the sort of what you would call, I suppose, the freedom and truth movement. That's, you know, whatever silly names we give these areas. They know what's going on, but still they send their children to the Morlocks to have their minds programmed and their lives ruined. And it is such a crying shame. And as I watched the mum and her little boy heading off in the suit and tie, ready to be a good citizen, to learn how to behave properly so that they will not think for themselves, rebel, or get up to any pranks and be an idealist, a creative, or any of those things, that they will end up just as a drone, as an autonoman. I felt great sadness. But what can you do? How do you turn it round? How do you convince the parents who have gone through the same system, that this process is so wrong and is so detrimental to their beloved little babes in arms, their little boys and girls? How do you get that message through to them? I don't know, because as soon as you start talking about it, they go, but we have to, don't we? We're compulsed to send them. And I ask, well, where do they get their authority to take your little one away from you and muck about with its mind, so that when you get it back, it is a completely different thing? It has become from a child, from a youngster, from a little boy or girl, it has become now a person, a legal fiction, an obedient citizen of the state that must do as it's told. How do we change that?